from inside. In the exam, you will not be dissecting. Come closer. Come closer. You'll be too far. Come here. You will not be actually dissecting, but I can ask you structures just like this from outside, but I can open up and see structure from inside. So here, the structures are, first of all, this thing is in atrium, and this is atrium, right? And these big ones are the ventricles. Now, which is left and which is right, to identify that in this shape, what you have to do is turn it around and look at this groove. The groove that goes oblique is in the front. So this is the back. So I turn it here like this. So I turn it like this. You see this groove here? So this is the front side. So what is the name of this groove?
Anterior interventricular sulcus.
Anterior interventricular sulcus. And then there is posterior interventricular sulcus, right? Then this groove here, between atrium and the ventricle, coronary sulcus. Or you can say atrioventricular sulcus or coronary sulcus. Okay? So, if this is the front side, which chamber is this? Front side, right? As if you're looking at my heart. This is right ventricle. This is
Left ventricle.
this is right atrium and the
Left atrium.
and you can see some of these flap like auricle or pinna. And here, from this chamber, the blood goes into which trunk?
The pulmonary vein. No?
Pulmonary trunk.
A pulmonary trunk.
So here, notice this blood vessel here. You see this? Directly in line with this chamber, right? This one. Which blood vessel is this? Pulmonary trunk. And then below this, so I'm showing you from this side now. So this is pulmonary trunk here. Right? The other one, this one here. This is the aorta. This comes off from here, right? Okay. And you know that where the pulmonary trunk starts, there's a pulmonary valve, which is like 3 pockets. Similarly, where the aorta starts, it starts from here, right? From the ventricle. There are 3 pockets here, valves. We call aortic seminal valve. Which valve is between this atrium and this ventricle? Which valve on this side?
The tricuspid.
Tricuspid valve on the right side. On the left side? Bicuspid. This is the apex of the heart, and this is the base of the heart. And you know that between 2 ventricles there is a partition wall inside, right? What is called interventricular septum. You don't want to cut across that, right? You want to go parallel to the septum, but you're not cutting the wall, right? You're not cutting the chamber like this. Is it okay? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to look at this chamber. This is the atrium, right? Right atrium. I'm going to cut it into the ventricle. And when I do that, I will be cutting the top part of tricuspid valve, correct? So if I open up like this, and just to show you, I will cut it more, going parallel to this like this. And you see the valve here? This is the valve attached to threads. And can you wear gloves? Go ahead. You see this valve here? See the valve? See the valve here? Attached to threads, right? So this valve is tricuspid valve, and can you show it to this side? These chordae tendineae. Yes, I'm holding this.
Okay.
See the thread-like things here?
The chordae tendineae.
You see that? All of you? Now, at the base of that, this muscle here, can you show them what's on your back?
Papilla.
Papillary muscle. right? Can you show this side? It's the papillary muscle here. All this big muscle here. All of this big muscle here. Papillary muscle. Okay. All right, very good. Now, what I want to do is, I want to give a cut on this side, and which valve will be there then? Bicuspid. I want to go parallel to this, right? Not like this, parallel to this. This is an easier way to do dissection. All other groups don't follow this procedure. It's more technical. Otherwise, what you can do is just give a cut like this, cut it in half. Okay, but this is more methodical. So you get cut like this. Did you notice the wire is so thick? See my scissors here. See how deep it is going, right? I'm cutting it, and I'm still not through. Can you show it to them? I cannot open it. I can't even open it. See, it's not. I'm not.
Yeah, no.
I'm not all the way in. It's so thick wall. So left ventricle walls are the thickest because they pump blood to all different parts of the body, distant parts. So I'm going to cut it more. Once you are in that chamber, see, I'm now in the chamber, right? I can feel it. And I'm going all the way to the atrium so that I can show you the bicuspid valve. It looks just like the tricuspid valve. See this here? Can you show this again? Can you show them this side? You see the valve, right? And you see the threads. The threads are called what? Chordae tendineae. Look at the papillary muscle. See how thick that is, how big that is. See papillary muscle? Isn't it? Okay. And this is bicuspid valve. Okay, very good. And now I want to show you the seminal valves. And the seminal valve, one is pulmonary, and where's the other one? Aortic. Do you still remember that from this one here, this blood vessel, you still remember that? On the top, see that I'm holding like this. This pulmonary, right? So as long as you know this, the pulmonary valve is right here, where it starts. Right here. There is 3. So when I cut, I will cut one of those 3, right? Okay. And these are like pockets. These pockets go like this, facing up, so that when the blood goes back, then the pocket becomes full. It is very thin membrane, just like my pocket today. Okay, I'm giving it a cut. I keep giving a cut. And just to show you, I don't need to go that far, but just to show you. Let me hold it like this. And you can still see that one of the flaps I didn't cut all the way. I will cut it. You see the membrane here on the top? See this thing on the top? This is one of the flaps of the valve. See this thing here? Right? So I'm going to cut it and show you the other 2 flaps. Now, can you point out to them pockets? Yeah, this is one pocket. Yeah. And then this side. This one is the pocket. Yeah. This one is the pocket. The third pocket I cut from the top. You see that? Right? Do you see the pocket? Can you show this side, please? If you can come this side. If you can come this side.
No.
Yeah. Then we can see. Right? I'm showing you so that you have an idea about how the heart works, how these are facing like this. When the blood goes like this, then these will be like flat against the wall. And when the blood goes back, then they become full of blood to close it. Okay. And the last one is, I need to borrow this thing here. The last one is at the base of aorta, And again, do you know that this is the pulmonary trunk? And I told you that this is the aorta here, right? Right? So what I do is I go like this. I go like this, and see it comes into the ventricle. Because this aorta comes from the ventricle, right? And wherever this aorta starts, near the ventricle, right there, just like these three, there are those three. So because I have this probe now, I know where to cut on top of that. I don't need to cut, I can show like that, but it will be difficult for you to see. So I give it a cut like this on top of the probe. Again, I don't try to cut all the way, but just to show you, it will be easier for me and for her to show you. Okay. Now you see this? See these pockets here? You see the pockets? And the third one also you can see it is cut here, but you can see a little bit. Yeah, see this side. You see the pockets? Okay, this side. Right? So this is aortic valve. How do you know it is the aortic valve is coming from the ventricle? Right? So this is what you need to know about this. Bicuspid valve, tricuspid valve, chordae tendineae, papillary muscle. Aortic semilunar valve and the pulmonary semilunar valves, bicuspid valve and the tricuspid valve. And from the surface, the chambers, the grooves, correct? Any question on this part here? Okay, so I'll just leave it here. I don't know, I have seen other professors, they just cut it in half and then show it. So I think this way you can have much better appreciation of the blood flow, which is the blood flows from here to there. Okay, so I'll just leave it here for now, and you can dissect. You can work in groups, maybe 2 people or 3 people or 4 people in a group, and dissect it, and then we'll start the EKG.